At 12 years old, my mother threw me out with 2 garbage bags and 6 words I'll never forget. You're old enough to figure out. 18 years later, the same family that abandoned me showed up at my door begging for help. They had no idea who I had become. My name is Daniel. When I was 7 years old, my father died in a construction accident. Before that, life wasn't perfect, but it was good. We lived in a small house. We ate dinner together. We laughed. We were family. After my father died, everything changed. My mother struggled financially. 2 years later, she married a man named Richard. At first, Richard seemed kind, but after the wedding, his true personality started to show. He hated having me around. Every mistake became my fault. Every problem in the house somehow involved me. If food went missing, it was me. If something broke, it was me. If Richard had a bad day at work, somehow that became my problem too. Then my mother became pregnant. When my half-brother Tyler was born, I stopped feeling like a son. I became a burden. The attention disappeared. The love disappeared. Even my bedroom disappeared. When Tyler turned 3, I was moved into the garage. No heater, no propebat, just a folding cot. I remember lying awake at night, listening to the laughter coming from inside the house. The family I belonged to was only a few feet away, yet I felt completely alone. As years passed, things got worse. Birthdays were forgotten. School events were ignored. Christmas gifts stopped coming. My mother always had money for Tyler, never for me. One day, I overheard Richard talking to her in the kitchen. What were we even keeping him around for? Those words hit harder than any punch. Because my mother didn't defend me. She stayed silent. That silence told me everything. By the time I turned 12, Richard wanted me gone. And my mother agreed. That's how I ended up standing on the porch with 2 garbage bags. Abandoned, forgotten, disposable. For the next few years, I survived however I could. I stayed in shelters. Sometimes with distant relatives. Sometimes with friends. Sometimes nowhere at all. There were nights I slept hungry. Nights I cried myself to sleep. Nights I wondered what was wrong with me. Why wasn't I enough? Why did my own mother want me? Those questions haunted me. But eventually, something changed. A social worker named Mrs. Carter entered my life. She saw something in me that nobody else did. Potential. Hope. She helped me apply for scholarships. She pushed me when I wanted to quit. She became the first adult who truly believed in me. And that changed everything. I threw myself into school. While other kids partied, I studied. While others complained, I worked. I wasn't chasing success. I was running from the pain of my past. At 18, I earned a scholarship to college. At 22, I graduated at the top of my class. At 24, I started a technology company with 2 friends. The first year was terrible. The second year wasn't much better. We almost went bankrupt 3 times. But we kept going. Then one day, everything changed. A major investor saw our product. Within months, our company exploded. Customers poured in. Revenue skyrocketed. Suddenly, the kid nobody wanted became a millionaire. Then a multi-millionaire. Then far more successful than I ever imagined. For the first time in my life, I felt secure. I bought a home. I traveled. I helped charities for abandoned children. Most importantly, I found peace. Or at least I thought I had. Because 18 years after being abandoned, my phone rang. The number was unfamiliar. I almost ignored it. But something told me to answer. Hello. The voice froze me. It was my mother. I hadn't heard her voice in nearly 2 decades. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then she started crying. Daniel, I missed you. Missed me? The woman who abandoned me? The woman who never called? Never visited? Never apologized? Now she missed me? I didn't know whether to laugh or hang up. Then she told me why she was calling. Richard had lost his job. They were drowning in debt. Their house was being foreclosed. Tyler had gambling problems. The family was desperate. And somehow they had discovered that I was successful. Suddenly, they wanted a relationship. Suddenly, they wanted family. The next week, they asked to meet. Part of me wanted to refuse, but another part wanted answers. So I agreed. When I arrived at the restaurant, I barely recognized them. They looked older, tired, defeated. My mother smiled nervously. Richard avoided eye contact. Tyler looked embarrassed. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then my mother started talking. She talked about family, seconde chance, forgiveness, love. Everything except the one thing that mattered. An apology. Finally, I asked a question. Why did you abandon me? The table went silent. Nobody answered. So I asked again, this time louder. Why did you abandon me? My mother's eyes filled with tears. Richard stared at his hands. And then she admitted the truth. She chose the easier path. Keeping me would have caused conflict with Richard. Abandoning me was simpler. Imagine hearing that. Your entire childhood reduced to convenience. I felt something inside me finally break. Not from pain, from clarity. For 18 years, I thought there was something wrong with me. But there wasn't. The problem was never me. It was them. Then came the question I knew was coming. They needed money. A lot of it. They asked for help. The abandoned child had become their last hope. The entire table waited for my answer. I looked at each of them. The mother who chose convenience. The stepfather who treated me like garbage. The brother who never once reached out. And then I smiled. Not because I was happy, because I was finally free. I told them something they would never forget. I forgive you. Relief flooded their faces. Then I continued. But forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. The smiles disappeared. I explained that I had spent years building my life. Years healing. Years becoming the person they never believed I could be. And I wasn't going to sacrifice my future for people who abandoned me when I needed them most. I stood up, placed money on the table for my meal, and prepared to leave. Before walking away, I said one final thing. The greatest gift you ever gave me was leaving, because it forced me to discover who I really was. Then I left, and that was the last time I saw Richard. A year later, I heard they sold their house. Tyler entered rehabilitation. My mother moved into a small apartment. Life went on. As for me, I continued growing my company. I got married. I started a foundation that helps abandoned children find educational opportunities. Every year, hundreds of kids receive support through that foundation. Kids who feel unwanted. Kids who feel forgotten. Kids who need someone to believe in them. Because I know exactly how they feel. People often ask if I regret not helping my family financially. The answer is simple. No, because helping someone doesn't mean allowing them to rewrite history. Forgiveness is possible. Trust is earned. And some consequences cannot be avoided. If you're watching this and you've ever felt abandoned, rejected, or forgotten, remember this. Your value is not determined by the people who fail to see it. Sometimes the people who walk away from you are simply making room for the people who will help you become who you're meant to be. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building a life so incredible that the people who abandoned you can no longer ignore what they lost.